I have had Sonic Frontiers for a while now. So today, I want to give you guys my first impressions of the game and help you decide whether this joint is worth picking up. And of course, this video won't have any spoilers because I want you guys to experience this thing with fresh eyes and minds. So, I'll give you a casual breakdown of what to expect without any context to the game's story. After a decade of complete misses, this is the first Sonic game in a while that I can proudly say is peak without any major issues holding it back. Unless you count Cyberspace, but we'll get to that later. I haven't actually finished the game yet myself, but I figure 7 hours of gameplay should be enough to give you guys my first impressions at the very least. And can I say, what an impression this game left on me. I almost don't know where to begin on the number of issues I had with the Sonic franchise that has finally been rectified in Sonic Frontiers. You guys already know how much I hated the direction the franchise took in the 2010s with the slapstick humor and low stakes. Sonic Forces tried to rectify that and became a serious Sonic game, but it failed miserably and the immersion simply did not exist. Sonic Frontiers, however, succeeds where Forces fails and beats it to a bloody pulp in the process. After the first two cutscenes, which do a great job flinging us into the main story, the game starts off in Cyberspace. I'm gonna be completely blunt and say Cyberspace was poorly done. In terms of gameplay mechanics, the controls feel stiff and unresponsive, and to actually get through the level design and achieve an S rank in the time the developers intended, you need to essentially fly over decent sized chunks of level. I don't know how, but the air boost has somehow gone even worse than it was in Forces, and to top it all off, you can't customize Sonic's parameters like you can in the large overworlds, leading for a very stale experience. That aside, the actual Cyberspace levels and the music are absolutely amazing. You can really see the Hedgehog engine 2 at work in these, and in the overworld as well actually. In fact, video recordings loaded 4K resolution do not do this game's justice. The visuals are completely stunning and they have the glitch RGB effects running at full blast, at least on the version I had, which was the PC version. Unfortunately though, I must recommend you get the PS5 version or the Xbox Series X versions of the game if you have these consoles already, because then you wouldn't have to deal with the lag from the Denuvo DRM that they absolutely smacked onto this game. 1 second my game was running perfectly fine, 1440p max settings, 60 FPS resolution, and then suddenly this frame rate drops down to 5 and I have to restart the game from the menu. And before you assume it's my PC, I tried everything. I tried different resolutions, quality settings, until I found out it was actually just one setting. It was the shadow quality that was completely tanking my performance. I don't know what they messed up during development so that the shadow quality would affect the game so greatly, especially as there are a lot more other effects in this game that are graphics intensive. But after dealing with these technical issues, I was able to crank up all the other settings to max and play the game as SEGA intended. Crisp resolution, smooth frame rate. So, if you're thinking of getting the game on PC, be sure to check your shadow quality settings because it will literally affect how you experience the game. Technical difficulties aside, the music of Cyberspace feels like a homage to Sonic Rush because these are some of the hardest tracks I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. Tomoya Otani has completely popped off and redeemed himself after the experimental tracks he produced for Sonic Forces and Sonic Colors Ultimate. Sure, a majority of those turned out to be bangers, but they do not even compare to the soundtrack of Sonic Frontiers. The overall music is less energetic and goes for the more calm, majestic approach that's expected of open world games such as this one. It's beautifully carried out too, as it switches seamlessly depending on what you're doing, from exploration to racing to combat. The Starfall Islands themselves look breathtaking, and I often had to remind myself that I'm actually still playing a Sonic game even though the environments look lush and realistic. It's been a while since Sonic Team has taken this direction in art style, and this was especially a good time to return as modern consoles have taken such a huge leap in graphics. Speaking of graphics, the cutscenes, which I will not show you because of spoilers, look amazing and remind me of the CGI openings that we would get for some of the older Sonic games in the Sonic franchise, animated by Marza Animation Plan. It makes sense that they would dodge CGI almost completely for this game due to the day-night cycles, but the cutscenes still look amazing regardless. It has been a common point of discussion that Roger Craig Smith's Sonic voice in these cutscenes sounds drastically different, but the same can be said about the rest most of the cast. Tails, Knuckles, Eggman and especially Amy all sound different, but it quickly grew on me. Dr. Eggman sounds more like his movie counterpart, especially in the first cutscene. I can see sprinkles of 06 Eggman, which is fitting seeing as they share the same voice actor. Ironically, it was Amy that sounded the most drastically different, not Sonic, as she doesn't sound like a Minnie Mouse knockoff chasing after Sonic anymore. I'd say the cast sounds more like a bunch of mature young adults instead of kids, and it complements the somber mood of the game exceedingly well. Roger's Sonic sounds a lot more grounded this time, and I argue it fits him perfectly. He's still the same impatient blue blur we know and love, but Sonic is written to be a lot more well-meaning, with a heart of gold, similar to the Sonic from the early 2000s. While some hardcore fans may not like this new change of voice direction, I wholeheartedly welcome it and hope it sticks around for future entries. Now, let's talk about the actual gameplay experience on the Starfall Islands, because you can't have a solid game without actual good gameplay. At first, Sonic's controls in the open world feel strange, not terrible, just strange. It takes a little bit of getting used to at first, but as the game progresses, things feel a lot more fluid and it's easy to see why the controls have been mapped the way they are. Of course, you can remap key actions on your controller or keyboard, at least for the PC version, and for the first time in Sonic history, you can essentially customize your Sonic experience, change key variables such as Sonic's turning speed and how close the camera is to the player. After a few tweaks, I was instantly hooked because Frontier Sonic is now the best controller in Sonic of the entire franchise, barring Cyberspace of course, because I can now control Sonic smoothly and make as much sharp turns as I desire, which has always been a dream of mine in a Sonic game. The combat at first felt a bit mashy and repetitive, but after you unlock some more slots on the skill tree, it instantly becomes smooth and reactive, and there's a method to the madness that makes it absolutely addictive to engage in combat with the enemy robot. The robots scattered all over the islands are all unique and each has a pattern of attack that keeps you on your toes, so that combat feels fresh through the entire gameplay experience. The mini bosses are especially fun to learn and defeating them feels amazing. Now, the fishing minigame was actually a lot more fleshed out than I thought it would be. I was originally planning to give it a shot and then never touch it again, but I found myself coming back for more, especially with the neat unexpected Easter eggs and the unlockables you can purchase from Big with the tokens you earn from fishing. The egg memos are essential if you really want to soak into this game's story and with all the lore connecting it to the previous games. However, so far it seems the only possible way to obtain them is through fishing, so you better pick up that rod and grab a snack because you're gonna be there for a while. All in all, this game was a fun experience and the little sprinkles of lore and references to other Sonic media is the icing on the cake. The character interactions are especially refreshing, but I'll let you discover all of this for yourself. This game is a day one must buy for me, especially as a Sonic fan, and I hope I'll still feel the same way after I live stream it sometime this week and drop my full spoiler review. But for now, I can safely recommend you to buy this game. You won't regret it. That's it for now, so I'll see you guys later. Temzy out. Peace. In the meantime, if you want more quick Frontiers content, check out my analysis of the Knuckles prologue. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. No, seriously, I need the views, please click it. Come on, you know you want to at least check it out, please.